Haha. Hello, everyone. Thumbs up if you can hear me. Just right. Check, check. Sound check. 1 2 1 2. Guys, can you hear me? There's apparently 6 people in chat. Please tell me if you can hear me. Sound check. Wonderful. That's beautiful. How you doing, guys? Everything's fine? Are you good? Are you all right? That's wonderful. So, yeah, we're waiting. It was beautiful, beautiful showcase. And maybe we'll get a release date. What do you guys think? Is it possible? Bro, I feel like shit, to be honest. But Showcase is only one time. You know, it's a one thing only. Just one time in the year. Yeah, brother. I hope so too. So 8 more minutes. Damn. Yeah, if we don't get a release date, I don't know. What I would like to see is some more gameplay. Maybe they have some changes that they haven't really talked about. You know, I want to hear something about the magic system. Maybe something more about, you know, I don't know, maybe combat, if there are any changes. I don't know. That would be dope. But I'm pretty positive that we will eventually get some news about the release date. But either way, it will be nice to hear from them one more time. Oh yeah. I mean, I gotta be honest, like, I'm not really interested in the rest. I don't even know what they're going to present, man. I saw like what was it called? Titan Quest or something? Jesus Christ. So Andy Bass. Do you play bass? Or is it Andy Bass and you go fishing? What is it? I'm curious. Oh yeah, the Bandit? Yeah, sure. I mean, they've shown us a lot of stuff regarding Quentin's camp, and I'm very, very positive that they give us some more you know, interaction with those. Very positive, because that was something that bothered people for well, since back in the day. Actually. Is this actually... Okay. I thought you would play, you know, like the bass or anything like that, you know. The early! Greetings, man. Pan Salts, how you doing, mate? Andy, with that kind of name, it's like Destiny. Take the base, or go fishing. Miha, I think we will be satisfied with those things. Is it really that hot over there in your place? Like we had some good old rain and thunderstorms in the last 2 weeks. Ah, Slovenia. Okay. Yeah, a friend of mine, Slivers FX. He's another YouTuber. He sent me a video like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. It was like a big ass thunderstorm. It was raining all over the place. Crazy. I like that kind of stuff because if it rains, you have, you know, you have like a reason to not feel bad when you stay inside. Except yesterday when I was walking the dog and I was soaked. Literally soaked. Arizona is always cooking even if it rains. Steam comes up to boil you. Okay. Bros from Arizona? I got people here from over the big pond. That's so nice. That's so nice. Like, where the fuck is Arizona? Let me just check that real quick. Arizona. Oh, yeah, it's in the south. Okay. Look at that, brother. So fitting with the music right now. Jarkandar. Looks like the canyon. Dude. I always wanted to go to America, to the States. I had some relatives live there, not anymore. But yeah, bro, into the desert, chilling a bit, eating in a fancy diner. Great shit. So how does that even work? Is this like It's not, man. I'm stumbling here and there. Well, thanks, mate. It's kind of that weird YouTube English where you listen to a bunch of YouTubers, you know, and then you switch between Aussie English, American English, British English as well. It's crazy. It's very interesting to see that because so many people, you know, are growing up with YouTube, and like in school, they tried to teach us British English, but it never really was. It was more like American English. But now with new generations coming up, it's all this fancy mix. So what's going on here? Is this actually is this the page? I mean, it says so. It's like, does it refresh or anything? I don't know. Okay, people want Titan Quest 2. Gothic, of course. Darksiders 4, I don't know what that is. Gothic Remake, Gothic. Titan Quest. Gothic. Gothic 1 Remake. Spongebob, there's a new Spongebob game. Okay. Darksiders. Okay, there's like 3 games that people are really, really anticipating. Last Ronin? Gothic better be worth the wait, says Mikey Tan. Oh boy! There we go. Let's go! I hope I didn't fuck up the audio. THQ doesn't have a custom intro. Shit's crazy, man. Oh, it's the intro for the intro. Okay, I get it. Yeah, about that. We can still have a conversation. Damn. What are we doing for 14 minutes? I hope you guys don't mind. I recently got into a little briefing. What are we watching? So we are watching the THQ Nordic Digital Showcase 2025. Obviously, Alchemia, the developer of the Gothic Remake, is a sub-company of THQ. They bought the rights for Gothic. Even back in the day when it was under Piranha Bytes, I think. So, and every year around this time, I think it's always on the 1st of August, they have a little showcase about all their upcoming games. And last time it was, yeah, I don't want to say it. I mean, you know, they make a bunch of games, but the only one that I'm interested in is it's Gothic. I know Titan Quest, like I've heard from it. Darksiders, I don't really know, but hey, maybe we find some stuff that's interesting. But we still got 12 minutes. I hope nobody minds me checking my my World of Warcraft, because I'm going a little bit into the auction house these days. You see, there's there's like a new patch or whatever, and at the end of the patch cycle, you can make some money. Yeah, same for me, Pan. Same for me. Didn't make any money, bro.
Have anything ancient to trade?
That's so sad.
Cannot attack that.
That's so sad. Well, I thought I could make some money on the side, but apparently not. No. Okay, fuck that. 10 minutes, we're going to talk right now. 15 people in chat. I want to ask, do you have any questions? PTSD from WoW? Yeah, kinda. Used to play around Wrath of the Lich King. Yeah, that was the height of World of Warcraft, so many people say. Lineage 2? That's something that I've never played. Christoph, hey man. Yikes, also, greetings. Yeah, bro, so this year was a little bit, I mean, up until now, it was very, very seldomly that I posted something. There's a lot of, you know, real life stuff going on. And, well, that's how it is. Now I'm trying to get into it a little more before Gamescom and all the other stuff. And what? I don't know, man. It's the THQ store. Go and buy some stuff. Ah, there it is. Dude, I want that mug. Welcome to the colony. I think I'm gonna buy that. Pavel says, do I remember correctly Marvin Scar was a pervert in G1? Why do you think that? I mean, if you go and play an MMO, that's like, you know, it's set up for wasting your time. But playing every video game can be seen as wasting time.
From Denmark, I'm David. I am the CEO of Invisible Walls, and I'm here to talk a little bit about our updates that we have done previously and our up-and-coming new updates.
What?
So far, we have added a new game mode called Brawl. It's a team deathmatch inspired game mode where you basically just fuck up your neighbors in a local hardware store called the Fine Warehouse. After that, we released our third map called Paradise Cove, set in a hot beach vacation area where you can fuck up your neighbors and destroy their lovely summer house and shit. And today, we are announcing our new game mode coming to neighbors very soon.
I'm lowering the volume a little bit, guys.
Your neighbors and
so we can talk a little.
are getting fucked up. Because the entire
Yeah,
need to come together and fight
I
out
remember that
some
voice line,
So head
but
over to our YouTube
it
channel,
depends
Invisible
on, I
Walls,
think,
to
like the
find
voice
out.
acting, you know, if he says it a little bit dirty in your native tongue, sure, you can get to that kind of vision that he's a pervert. I never really got like the impression, but there is a line of dialogue that implies that Gomez, you know, once he's done with his women, he sends them to his guys. Yeah, that's how it is, brother. MMORPG gives us the scum of the earth. You get to experience the working force in a safe space. Law. Started with C4 and stopped at high 5. Since then, I'm only playing on private service. Interlude mid-rate. Is that Lineage? Lineage 2? Yeah, bro. MMOs were like way better back in the day. Like, I remember when World of Warcraft launched, everybody was shit.
Shadowlands are stirring.
Shadowlands?
A war is
Talking about
coming
World
our
of
way,
Warcraft.
and when it arrives,
It was such a mysterious thing to walk around in Azeroth because you didn't know anything. Everything was a mystery, you know. You didn't know where the next quest leads you and all that. But now everybody knows everything. It's all min-maxing. You rush to the end, you know. You rush to the max level and then just engage in end game content. I was never like rushing to the end game. I liked venturing out in the world and kind of taking in the atmosphere and all that. That's what I like. I mean, if you have an MMO, a massive world, why not, you know, take a breather in it? But it's the mindset of many people, you know. It's just endgame stuff. Exactly, yikes. Yeah. Oh yeah, that episode was legendary. Oh yeah, that's actually a funny thing, Christoph. Because I don't know where I was. I'm living in a rural area, but I met like 2 Polish guys, and I was asking them, you know, do you know Gothic? And they were like, yeah, of course. And I was like, oh, did you play it? No, but we know it. So it had a big cultural impact in Poland as well. Pavel, I said that in the last live stream, I think like yesterday, the day before yesterday. I would like him to look a little more mature. I would like him to look like a little more rough around the edges, a little more worn out. Gothic on the Switch? Is it any good? Oh, look at that, it's a sweet, cutesy squirrel game. Not as good as on PC, yeah, brother. PC Master Race, right? The cool thing is that, I mean, there is some quality of life changes, obviously, but there's also some like extra stuff. I talked about that in different videos, where they're like, it's like the area behind the old mine. It's like a neat little extra. There's nothing in it, but you know, it has some lore implications. Yeah, exactly, Yikes. Exactly. And also there is, if you can somehow glitch behind certain areas, you can get to the Orc City, which was also... You could do that too in the original PC version, but it was all dark. And somebody under some video of mine explained to me why you couldn't see in the original levels. But they fixed that. So in the Switch version, if you can somehow get behind, I think it's like one of those caves near the Orc City, near the Sleeper Temple, and you Marvin through the wall, you get loaded into this unused Orc City, and you can explore it, and now everything is full of light. There's nothing in it, but it's cool to see, actually. Upgrades from Gothic Switch to PC as well. Yeah, we'll see about that. At the same time, bro, when I'm playing Gothic, it's like, you know, tons of modifications. I can't even remember the last time that I played like OG Gothic 1 or 2. Thanks for watching. No biggie, brother. 2 minutes. 2.5 minutes. Everybody's telling me about the Othello mod. One day I'm going to get into it. Bro, I have to play Gothic 2 on stream. Oh. I already know the modification that I want to play with. Right now I'm gathering some footage. This modification, it's really one of the best modifications. Little hack I discovered while experimenting around. If you transform into a minecrawler and walk through the barrier wall, it just sits you down. It does a tiny amount of damage. Then you just stand up and you're free. Yes, yes, the connection between minecrawlers and the barrier was always very apparent. They're secretly arcane mages. Surpassing all that fire mage and water mage shit. What does Othello do? Is it like definitive edition that gives you some additions here and there, or is it what is it called? Is it like a total conversion with its own story? Because total conversions, I'm not really a big fan of those, even when you've got stuff like New Balance. That's not too much. That's like too much for me. More like an expansion, okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I mean, it depends totally on the game. that you're playing. I think for Gothic it's pretty cool if you've got some extra stuff, you know, base game but extra stuff, maybe some new quests and all that. Well, 10, 9, 8, 7. Please tell me if the sound is too loud or anything, if you can hear something, if you can't hear me anymore. Ooh, there it was. Cyrus, welcome. Welcome to the show.
Dare to dream. But your imagination is still so limited.
Ah. What's this? Sorry.
But your imagination is still so limited.
Perfectly balanced sound, okay.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Oh yeah, baby.
What shall we do with the Flying Dutchman? What shall we do with the
SpongeBob,
Flying
everybody.
Dutchman? What shall we do with the Flying Dutchman? I'm David Hasselhoff.
Hooray!
To save Bikini Bottom.
What the fuck?
Thanks, SpongeBob. There once was a king who ruled the sea, and a ghostly pirate, mean and green. The magic clash and ghosts unleashed across Bikini Bottom. Soon may King Neptune come to rid the seas of pirate scum. Soon
It's David
may
Hasselhoff,
the Dutchman
everybody.
come to haunt Bikini Bottom. I'm one of those magic lantern thingies. Along came a hero, pours
Yeah, they are.
who
They
takes
do a
the
lot of stuff.
Dutchman to his lair. King Neptune yelled,
By my own beard, I rule Bikini Bottom.
soon may the BFFs come to burrow, kick and jump and run. Soon may SpongeBob come to save Bikini Bottom.
Did you guys grow up with SpongeBob?
It's our BFF rings. We can swap anytime we want. It's like a gift from the gods.
Here I go!
What the fuck is that?
Be wary of the Dutchman, wary of the mighty king, wary of their spells, beware of king and ghost. Be wary of the Dutchman, wary of the mighty king, wary of these old geezers. Beware of king and ghost.
Yeah, Dragon Ball. That was my time too. Yeah, I'd buy that just for David Hasselhoff. Man's an icon in Germany. Weird casting spell from the remake. Which one are you talking about? Bruh, a racing game, recreation. You're absolutely right, yikes. So it's gonna be a long show. It's gonna be a long ass show. Turning down the volume just a tiny bit. Yeah, it's like their money maker, I think. Like SpongeBob, yeah, it's a big IP, but I don't know, looks like a kid's game to me.
Hi, I'm Ethan, an animator at Digixar, and I'm here to give you a little insight into our next game, Tides of Tomorrow. After Road 96, the team came together around a central theme for our next project. We wanted to create a world that parallels some of the real-life environmental issues our planet is navigating.
Real life.
I heard something happened with another Tidewalker.
What?
In Tides of Tomorrow, you'll head out on a journey to find a cure for a fatal disease before everything is lost.
It's gone. Someone beat us to it.
Asynchronous narration is our next step after the procedural story of Road 96. It supports the theme of protecting our planet, but every choice leaves a mark. Follow in the steps of a friend, a streamer, or a total stranger and live the impacts of their decisions through your own story. And yes, you can also play solo thanks to our offline journeys available at launch.
Okay.
This feature is a new way of experiencing a story, where previous players can act in good or bad ways. And every experience will be shaped by previous player choices. And you, as you'll be impacting other players' journeys, what legacy will you leave behind?
So what's that, like co-op?
Will you help us?
Yeah, definitely. You're right, Yikes. It's you know, last game is always the most interesting.
One more thing. Here's an exclusive look at the new location in the game. This place is home to the Party of the Dead, where people come to dance until they die.
Dancing until dying? You can do that in Berlin in those clubs, man. I mean, I didn't really listen properly. I'm sorry. My attention span is very, very short. That looks good. It's been ages since I played a racing game. Dude, I played like Need for Speed back in the day. That was so dope. That's kind of good graphics for a racing game, man. Look at that. Flying! When it's not Gothic, I'm dead too, yeah. So that's just our nature, brother. Early access. Wreckfest 2. Gothic. Jeff Sneedstein. Greetings, bro. Oh yeah, flat out. That's also like decades old, right? Scary skeleton. For a quick second, my brain read Arcania, and I was very sad. Awaken! Yeah. This looks like... oh, Sacred 2 Remaster. Jesus Christ, Sacred. I played that. It was a bug-ridden mess back in the day. But then I played Diablo, I think. Diablo 2 instead. Eternal Life of Goldman.
Do you remember when you first met him?
Matt. I can't say I ever met him. It's more like he burst in like a hurricane.
Oh, like last week when the roofs across the street got blown away?
I was certainly blown away. I remember thinking,
is it any good? Like
first
Sacred?
beautiful person I
Bro, I
had
cannot
ever seen
remember.
in
I was a wee
What?
boy.
That old man?
And
Actually,
it's like a Diablo
he was in
clone.
his early 30s then.
You know,
That's
like
what I
hack and
said.
slay,
An old man.
dungeon crawler.
For an old man, he sure was full of life. and inventive. He had a lot of dreams. And it turned out I had dreams of my own. He got greedy. And I realized I needed to be greedy sometimes too.
Was a German production.
Cruel. And
Isn't it bad to be greedy?
And he'd
But
never
I cannot
shut up
remember anything.
about that stupid treasure. He kept studying
What
his
info,
notes,
man?
poring over his notes, over
Can't
and over
remember
and over again.
anything.
What's wrong with treasures?
He may be an old man to you, but when he was blabbering
See,
on about treasure,
even though
I
most
saw
of those games
a
are
boy.
really not like
What's wrong with
catching my
boys?
attention too
Was I
much.
not a fool for believing a
Looking at
boy?
this, for example,
He was just gonna.
I said, was
almost
I not
looks
a
like
fool
it could be made
for
like
believing
by
boy?
a small indie studio.
I don't know.
And this
Mom.
is what I actually do like
I guess
nowadays.
The treasure.
Can't you hear what I am telling you? He dreamed of nonsense. He was greedy for nonsense. He was cruel because of nonsense. He filled my head with nonsense, and I believed in nonsense.
Discount
and
Cuphead.
one day,
I don't even know
if
what
you
that
don't
is.
want-
and one day he will come back and pay for everything. Do you understand me or not?
Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Mom, I'm sorry. You're right, Mom. You're right. Mom, can you hear me?
Important info was German
Sorry,
made.
I won't
It's
do it
always
again.
good. Nah, bro, made in Germany lost completely all its
Mom?
meaning. And to be honest, when it comes to video games, it never really was there. There were a very few things like Gothic. I can't remember anything else, to be honest. But Titan Quest! Woohoo! That's also an old-ass franchise. Also, as you can see, Diablo clone, but set in like a Greek mythological setting. The idea is kind of cool. Crisis, yeah, for sure, Crisis. Yeah, you're right. Drakensang, okay. See, you guys are very knowledgeable about the quality that came out of Germany. Oh, I don't know. We might see the release date actually. November for Gothic? Let's see, man. Join early access right now, mate. Go for it, Cyrus. It's early access. Remember to hydrate yourselves. That looks good.
I believe
it's,
that you can choose your path.
It's live action? Okay. It's like, damn, those graphics look fine.
When I came to town, I could have become anyone. A merchant, a priest, a blacksmith, or a thief.
Oh yeah, Lefty, that damn idiot. Can't wait to
But I decided to uphold
knock
the
him
law.
out in the remake.
The town flourished with culture and business. But not everyone played fair.
Stop!
In the most
You violated
unlikely
the
of
law.
situations, I fell in love.
Dude, next year sounds proper. The later, the better, in my opinion.
Over the years, I secured my succession. And my hard work paid off.
Bro, what is this? This is like some
But
stronghold
times
shit.
were not always good. War and famine brought hardship.
I really miss those
And
days when they
hardship
had more live
brought
action
back
trailers
my
and stuff for
old
games.
enemy.
I really like that.
I
There's
learned
some
that
production
politics is a
quality.
dirty game, and even small crooks can become powerful. But I've always wanted justice.
The Thieves Guild.
Which path will you choose?
The Guild. Europa. 1410. Well, boys.
Have you ever wondered why the formation of the barrier went out of control? I know the other mages haven't, but I'm not like the other mages. I see everything.
What?
And I see how the barrier affects all living things in this God's-forsaken colony. And every convict will eventually succumb to its influence. The old camp, with their pitiful illusion of order and safety. And yes, the so-called Brotherhood of the Sleeper, worshipping their mysterious god. They might be onto something. And the orcs. Well, you might dismiss their culture as primitive.
Yeah, board game, probably.
But it would be prudent to study them carefully. Maybe the key to all of this lies buried deep under their sanctuaries. I cannot unravel these mysteries all alone. I need allies. Allies who look out for more than their own survival. Allies who accomplish things you might have considered impossible. Allies I will meet soon enough.
Swamp Shark! Oh, look at that, bro. What the? Early 2026. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Sounds good. Sounds good. Gothic classic. Okay, complete classic. Yeah, wow, there were a lot of shots where, damn. Awaken, brother, awaken. Quite a lot of shots that made you go, whoa, okay. I need some stillness to think about that. We saw like a regular demon. We saw... We've seen a golem, actually. We saw some orcs. Dude, I need to slow that down, actually. Put it in a video. Yeah, the kick was insane, right? Like, kicking enemies? I think that's a thing now. We saw the Minecrawler Queen. That looked dope. I like the spell, this electricity spell, which kind of stunned your opponents. That was cool. And Xardas looked good, right? What do you guys think of Xardas? Oh yeah, slow down for dodging. Nah, man, I don't like that. I think it was like a dramatic effect. That's kind of crazy that they showed it so early on, kind of. But the trailer was, in my opinion, was a little bit too fast. But it was cool. We saw running around with a wolf. Yeah, Pansalt. Yeah, he sounds more like that. I mean, it's in his best interest, I think, to get rid of that barrier. Get out of there. And first and foremost, to get rid of the sleeper, right? Milton, this one shot of Milton where he was like looking up, that looked a little bit weird, but in general, I'm okay with his design. We saw Swamp Shark. That was also interesting. I don't know, man. Can I go back? Do you want me guys to go back? or do you guys want to watch some more of whatever's coming? I mean, we can watch it until the end or whatever. And I can do another episode about the stuff. Go back. Trailer is up on THQ YouTube channel. Want me to switch? Yeah, of course. Is that the proper trailer? Oh, it was, Look, you know what I'm doing now? I'm going to change the playback speed. Get rid of the audio. And then we'll just take a look at all the things we see. What do you guys think about this big-ass map of the colony with his dome? I like his armor. It's very true to the original. I lowered the audio because it would sound like fucking shit. You know what I was... Take a look at this. Yeah, we can see like there is a bunch more of stuff in the Western Swamp, which is interesting. New camp up here. Like, okay, if that's the new camp up here, obviously, this should be like the old mine. There seems to be some kind of canyon over here. I don't want to get my hopes up too high. Not sure. Here's Xardas' tower. Here's his old tower. This is where the orcs are from. Okay, let's take a look at the bro. And he's got a raven. I don't know about that, but it kind of fits. It kind of fits his character to have some kind of spy creature because he's very knowledgeable, right? And he knows what's going on in the world. Xardas is some sort of shadow mastermind now. I mean, he always kind of dabbled in things nobody else would think about, right? Whereas water mages, or the fire mages even more so, they were just, you know, hanging out in the old camp. He was like, hey, what went wrong? He seems to be given Gothic 2-3, but it's not really the case in part 1, right? I don't know about that. Go back? Where to? Like it just started, brother. I don't know what this is about, actually. I don't know what this is about. Like, this is a shot from the demo, the very early demo, the playable teaser. I remember this. I mean, I think there is an upcoming board game. I think it's kind of a cross promotion. I wish they used this time to give us like a proper, you know, a proper trailer for the game. So it really starts around here, which is like, okay. So that's the boy. What do you think about the sword? I don't know about that. Like, I try to remember what kind of sword that is in the game. Definitely a long sword, Zweihander. And here we have a swamp shark. And he's all nasty and all that. Look at that. He's slimy. This is what I pretty much like. So, hold on. This is so interesting because try to remember, right? Wait. Oh no. Give me a second. Give me a second. I wanna have some music here. Some Gothic music in the background. Yeah. So this is. Ah, nah, banana bang. Let them cook. So the only place that I can think of right now, you know, where you got shipwrecks, this is obviously in the eastern part of the colony, below the fog tower, right? What's interesting in this shot, you can see some kind of structure out there in the water. So it might be like a mini dungeon or anything. I don't know. Another very interesting thing is like goblins have like this little vantage point over here. That must be very close to the fog tower. There were no goblins around at the fog tower in the original. I don't really care about that too much. What's also interesting, okay, this is what's also interesting, usually from this perspective you could see like the monastery, the cliffside monastery where you know, where you take a look for the focus stone later on with Gorn. But I cannot really see the ruins up here, so I don't really know. Maybe they just made it a little bit bigger. But in the background, once again, we see those huge-ass cliffs, actually, that I was talking about in some videos. And the implications for a possible Gothic 2 remake. That would be so cool if you had some kind of highlands in the eastern part of Corinus. That would be really, really nice. And this little ruin over here at the bottom of the picture is actually this one. It is the same, as you can see, it's the same architecture, the same ornaments, and this is diving into this place. And dude, I'm gonna be honest, this is more and more setting up the lost civilization of Yarkandar. I'm very sure it is. We saw this type of architecture as well in the last making of shot, and also the one before. Bro, they are setting it up right. And here we have the Mindcrawler Queen. Dude, she massive. She's got that big ugly head, look. And she's got wings. Look at that. She got wings. These are wings, right? Yes. Bro. Really nasty. And she's reminding me of that, again, Aliens 2. I mentioned it in the last live stream. With that big bone plate on the head. Crazy. And here we have the troll. Brother, the color palette of the troll is really spot on. Let me go back just a little bit. I like the casting. So what we can see here is the troll made himself like a little piece of armor. And he's got like some shorts. So we don't see his dingle dang dong. Oh my god. It's possibly really huge. So the problem with trolls is that they kind of look goofy, and they had this weird ass haircut, this yee ass haircut, and now they gave them some type of horns or at least bone plates on their head. I'm okay with that, and they also now have like tusks, which is cool. And if you take a look at what's going around, what's happening around the troll, this is actually the place where you go with Diego to look for the focus stone. That's the place. They redesigned it heavily, and we saw that shot already. And again, the architecture is something that I bet my ass off. That's Yarkandar, 100%. 100%, definitely. Let me read the chat real quick. If only they would also add distant visible mountains beyond the ocean, showing the mainland. Well, yeah, I get what you're saying, Pansots, but at the same time, like, it's pretty far away, you know? Mainland, if you would see the mountains in the distance, it would indicate that there is not much distance. But there is. Ever played Unreal 1, the final boss of the final boss were like a giant flying bug? Oh, okay. Yeah, when I saw the flapping wings, I thought of like a multi-phase boss battle. Could be, you know. Because again, I'm reminded of Aliens, and in that movie, the queen is kind of attached to like a big old egg sack. And once Ripley, I don't even know, starts fighting with the queen or whatever, she detaches from that egg sack and is going haywire. Just a little distant faint mountain peak. Yeah, maybe, what's it called? Erdorath, right? So here we have a shadow beast. Brother in Cry. It looks very, very dangerous. Like this shot, absolutely cool. But here's the thing, it looks awesome. What I don't like are these tiny little spikes. Like, okay, they're fairly big, but what I don't like is like this hedgehog-like spikes on the back. The original Shadow Beast had like big ass bone plates, and that looked really good. Really, really good. This is more of a fusion of the Shadow Beast that we saw in Arcania, I think. The one of... basically a mix of all the Shadow Beasts in all 3 games. It has the spikes. It's obviously a Shadow Beast that we know from Gothic 1. It has the spikes from the 3rd game. And it also seems to have like this shadowy mist fog aura from Arcania, actually. And here we have a okay, I wanted to say swamp golem, but it's just a regular stone golem. Obviously, this is the mountain fortress, which is expanded on in that area over here. Again, what I'm kind of mad at is that the mountains in the back don't really reach across the fortress. I really like that in the original game, but it is what it is. So what's that? That's a demon? Was that a demon? Let me take a look. Huh. I cannot really say what it is. It should be a demon, obviously, right? But is it Xardas's demon? Because we know that it looks like a little bit different, or that it completely that it has a different model. I don't even know, because there was a huge discussion when they revealed the demon back in the day, like last year or whatever, and people went haywire. They were like, "Oh, that's not our demon," you know. So I don't know. So where is this place? We saw a bunch of screenshots, a bunch of video material as well. What's cool is that the skeleton mages kind of defy laws of physics and just, you know, spawn somewhere else. It's pretty interesting. There's quite a lot of to unpack here. First of all, the weapon model looks really good. Mist Tower, yeah, sure, could be. It looks a little bit too. Mist Tower always. I had the impression that it was just like a hollowed out mine, a forgotten, abandoned mine, you know, because it had these weird mine shafts and all that. But maybe there is a redesign going on. Maybe you're right, because again, we're talking chromonine, right? Which is like the centerpiece of the fog tower. And chromonine again is speaking about achieving chromonine, and we don't really know what chromonine is. Is it some kind of meta achievement, some kind of enlightenment, some kind of transcendence or ascendance? I don't know. Yes, and this Christy Christian leads me to my next point. We can see 3 statues of the 3 gods. To the left, we can see Beliar, who is holding his head in his hand, so we don't really have a face, which is good, actually. In the middle, there is Innos. We can see his beard, his flowing beard. He's got a sword. That's definitely Innos. And on the right, I forgot. Is this the Eternal Wanderer? The Eternal Wanderer wasn't the Eternal Wanderer like the inspiration for Adanos? Because we never had it like a physical icon of Adanos. Does the Eternal Wanderer represent? No, wait a second. The Eternal Wanderer is embodies Innos, actually. So interestingly enough, this is the first time that we see like a proper Adanos statue in the game. And with all that said, you've got the 3 deities in this place, and maybe this is key to achieve chromonine? I don't know. Xardas Old Sunken Tower has too much potential for expanding it. It has so much. Yeah, definitely. Could be that this is Xardas Sunken Tower. I don't know. Could be Fog Tower. I don't know what else. I really don't know. Yet again, maybe it is a completely new area. But I like the implications, because usually you don't see the 3 deities in one place, right? So in terms of Xardas' Sunken Tower, it kind of makes sense. He was a fire mage. He had relations to the water mages as well. At least he is so knowledgeable that he knows about their ways. And kind of recently, he also took a liking to, you know, the dark arts and you know what Beliar represents. So it might be that he built this little this little room, worshipping room, including all the deities to understand the grand design, the grand mystery. I wonder how much world building from previous games they'll include here. Bro, already we've seen so many things that are hinting at not just, you know, Gothic 2, but even beyond that, Gothic 3 stuff. In the demo, you know, Mirtana was mentioned, Notma was mentioned, Varant was mentioned, and they're already setting up so many things. And it's very intelligent to do that. It's very clever. I mean, it's not really. It's not really. Imagine they wouldn't do that. They would just go in blind like Gothic back in the day. That wouldn't be too good, in my opinion. You need a coherent storyline. You need to embrace the lore in a sense. I'm saying this while I really, really, really hate the lore of Gothic 3. But yeah. So a little theory crafting on this one, yeah. Adanos Nomads, yeah. Is it me or did they take inspiration from Chronicles of Mirtana for Adanos from the shrine? Yeah, yeah, it's also like an old dude, right? Yeah, could be. Could be. Ice Golem near Xardus' tower. Look at that. A big old cleave swing. Damn. What the hell is this? Ah, okay, it's a transformation spell. That's interesting. Yeah, that's cool. I like it. Okay, we gotta talk about this location. Holy shit. Holy shit. So, we saw this location in previous promotional material, and I was asking myself, you know, where the fuck is that? We gotta go back. We gotta go back. And I don't know where that is. You can see there's ruins around this place. You see a broken arch. You don't see mountains in the vicinity. That means, at least from this side, that could mean that it's like an elevated area. Now we're taking a look into this direction, and it kind of confirms what I just said, because I think the other shot, we looked the other way around. Now we're looking down the way, and we can see a statue over there. I cannot really make out what it is. It looks like a human silhouette opening the arms. But we got some bandits here. Bro, I can see that also being like remnants of the Yarkandar stuff. I don't know. It's very interesting. Also interesting, why are bandits over here? Or mercenaries. So here's the shot. This is Corvinus! Now magic is Kung Fu Qigong. Yeah, maybe. It doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad. Here's the mountain fortress once again. Harpies. Interior is a lurker. Look at that. Okay. Slow. Yeah, that's a lurker. And that is... Where is that? I don't know where that is, but what is this spell? Also... Like... Okay, I'm digressing here a little bit, but this is the way leading up to the Cliffside Monastery. What we see in the distance, that's the Fog Tower, 100%. You see there's like two small divided highlands, I want to say. And there's the river flowing down into the ocean. Yeah, that's definitely on the way to the Cliffside Monastery. I don't know what this is. It's a very short frame, but it's also very interesting what kind of spell that is. Because we didn't have any kind of spell that looked like this. Okay, here we get the demon. So, my thoughts on the demon. It's not as bad as I thought. It's actually closer to what I imagined they would do. It looks still very fleshy. It has like this bony face. I kind of miss those weird dangly appendages that the original demon had, but I don't want to be too nitpicky. I like that they kind of split this one solid tail of the original demon into these tentacle-like appendages, making them basically, you know, like a fucking jellyfish. He's got this glowing chest. Debatable. It's okay. It's okay. The wings also look alright, in my opinion. The question is, where is this? Where is this? Because it's an underground place. We can see some human architecture, but we can also see some daylight piercing through a grate, I want to say. So my first thought was, is this in the dungeons below the old citadel? You know, the place where in Gothic 2 the fire dragon can be found. Okay, I gotta go through the comments once again. Cyrus, you said this is the first focus location where Nyrus is up the hill. Yeah, sure, could be, definitely. It's high up, and at the same time, it would fit with my theory of having architecture from Yarkandar over there, because we know that the pedestals where the focus stones are placed on, that they, who says this? Madarion in Night of the Raven. He says that the pedestals are very similar to those in the Valley of Mines. So making this connection is not so far-fetched. Now that looks like an actual demon. Yeah, I think so. I'm okay with the design. I'm okay. I wish sometimes the original demon looked so fleshy, and so it was like body horror from the 80s almost. I don't know if you've seen some movies. It's like all fleshy and all disgusting and all that kind of crap. I think sometimes the devs for the remake especially, they are a little bit too edgy for my taste. A little bit. Just a tiny bit. Talking about the spikes on Xardas Tower, for example. The demon design. The spikes on the Shadow Beast and all that kind of stuff. It's a tiny bit, you know, dial it down just a tiny bit and I'm completely okay with it. Map analysis reminds me of GTA 6 mapping project. Bro, we're doing the Lord's work here. Copy below the castle. Yes, but... Oh, which castle do you mean? Like Old Camp Castle? Nah, man. They don't have demons over there. Gucci Base says, the more they show of the remake, the more my interest wanes. Yeah, bro. I know where you're coming from. Let's be honest, it is, in certain ways, a departure from the original. At the same time, I'm like, okay, what do you wanna do? Do you want flat out HD models, HD counterparts to the original stuff? Like, I'm okay if they change some things, if it fits like the theme. And I think sometimes it's kind of a weird thing that I kind of realized when they're talking, you know, in their art vision, the last episode. They're like, yeah, we're going for, you know, it's like a grounded setting, but there is some fantastical elements in there, and it's dark and gritty. You can show that. You can make a dark and gritty setting in a grounded world without having, you know, this shot, you know, with all the spikes and all that. It's a little bit too much for my taste. Just a tiny bit. Well, they're doing an incredibly decent job. We've only seen changes for the best so far. I wouldn't say that, because, well, you know, I had my fair share of criticism, and I see why other people have criticism as well. Look at him. He's just getting kicked down. It's crazy. And the lurker is jumping now. That's also very fine. Oh, what? What? Oh, look at that. That looks very, very awesome. You can see the new location with the Nyrus focus on the Xardus minimap at the beginning. We're checking that. We're checking that after this. But I want you to look at this once more. You break the seal and then the mouth drops open. This is so cool. This is actually very cool. Yeah, here's Milton. Where is that? Probably during a focus hunt? What do you guys think? This looks like some Stonehenge stuff. That's our boy Lester. Look at that. Our boy Gorn. I'm sorry. I don't know. It could be an illusion, but I think they buffed him up a little bit. His arms look a little bit you know, like he took the creatine and the whey. Yeah, and those orcs are fucking massive, right? Take a look at that. They're huge. So, what we can see here is busy necromanting around the army of darkness. And here we can see the vision of the sleeper, the great event. This looks awesome. Damn, son. Yeah, that's it. Quick analysis. We go back to Xardus once more. We take a look at his, what was it? The big thing of the Brotherhood. Wait. It was a little bit too fast. So you think it's over here, right? Because that's above the temple. This could be a ruin over here. I don't know. I'm not very sure about that. Google Corinus. Next frame behind. What? What? No, yeah, it's a swamp camp. But still interesting if we take a look at it from this perspective. Huh. I'm like, you know, Xardus is so bored that he's like Warhammer 40K'ing around in his goon cave, you know, and he's painting all the models and playing in the Valley of Mines. Look at this! I've got a heavy Templar. Oh boy. Yeah, so I don't really mind the Game of Thrones inspiration. Yeah, probably. Maybe. I don't really know if I like that too much. That's like too magical for me, you know? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. It's like a cool visual thing for a trailer, but him having this board game of the Valley of Mines in his tower, maybe it's just like an illusion that he crafted pretty quick. This is Charles Dance to Lannister Xardus, yeah, probably. Oh, imagine if they would have casted Charles Dance as the narrator, as the voice actor for Xardis. That would be so dope. He's a bit old though. You can't really see too much. I want to say if I go back just a tiny bit, you see this is the new camp down here, obviously, and to the left-hand side we have the old mine. And here's, as you can see, you know, there's this little part, this little forested part over here, which makes me kind of hope for the canyon near the old mine. I don't know, man. That would be so cool. Gomez, the first of his name, king of the three camps, conqueror of ore. Vittorio Tomasetti. Hi, Vertigo. Hello, Vittorio. Yeah. Looking good, all right. Here we can see the Orc Arena, which is also neat. Wow, okay. I just checked that he is wearing that he's having this adornment around his neck. I was always thinking like he's got some bone necklace, you know. But that's actually a demon? This is actually it also looks like the sleeper mask. Damn. Xardis got some Riz, definitely. The Rizzler. I don't know what that is about, man. Like, did somebody actually... Is this like made on a computer, or did somebody craft this in real life? That would be so cool. Having like a diorama of a scene in the Valley of Mines. I mean, looks like that, definitely. Looks very palpable. Yeah, so that's it. Look at that sword, man. But I'm really glad it's from the Mind of the Raven, Vertigo. It's Xardis spying. Yeah. What I really like is how the hero holds the two-handed sword. In two hands, you know, upright like this. How it should be, not like the weird Gothic 3 stance, which was absolutely ass. The camera closes into... Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right, okay. That's a good catch. I didn't see that. Let's watch that again. Okay, we go into the Eye of the Raven. Bam! And we've got the dioramas. So this is like how the Raven... yeah, bro. This is awesome. This is awesome, Christy. This is what the Raven sees. He's relaying this information to Xardis. The coming of the hero. The hero and I don't know, is that Diego? Yeah, sure. Exactly. Yeah. That's a very good observation, brother. That would have taken me weeks to figure out. Three-eyed Raven. He's only got two eyes. Yeah, maybe Xardis has a deal with Fortuno and he sends his Raven to get him a spliffy every now and then. Now it makes much more sense to have this, you know, to have this in the trailer. It took me a little bit off guard, but sure looking good. Dude, what about some cool like action figures? But not like cheap ones, like quality stuff. That would be cool. I'd put that right in my man cave. Raven is Raven, yeah. Yeah, alright. So yeah, that's we're gonna like that. Here's some comments over here. March 15th, 2026. 25 years from the original G1 release. Just saying. Damn, son! You're onto something, yeah. That is so good, man. That's so good. Great, great, great. Yeah, people are hyped. People are hyped. Gomez doesn't pay well, so he earns on the side working for Xardis. Yeah, probably. Pimping out his knowledge and his strong arm. The Ore Baron is secretly a furry and visits Xardis. Oh, please don't, please don't. March it is, 3 months delay, and they were saying multiple times it will be released in 2025, though. Yeah, I don't care, man. They should take their time, in my opinion. Okay, boys and girls, we saw the thing, we analyzed it pretty quickly. Nice to know when it's coming out. Nice to see some more stuff. But I want to say, still, after all, you know, the material that we've seen, I'm not worried about the music. I'm not worried. Like, okay, the visual style and all that. Okay, I've got my moments with it, you know, where I'm not completely convinced. But my biggest fear still is that the combat isn't on point. I mean, I made a video about it. You know, when they fixed the Nyrus demo, it was better, but in my opinion, there was still a way to go. At least melee combat. Because, dude, melee combat is where it's at, man. I want to play a Templar. I want to play Guard, Mercenary. Eventually also an Archer, sure, but melee combat was always like this action-packed thing. Christy Christian says, if you watch it, shows him visions of the hero, but also of orcs worshipping the sleeper. Maybe that's how he gathers knowledge from the colony. Yeah, sure. He knows everything. He knows... He's around. He's around in the colony. Definitely. Tormund says, extremely disappointed, not only because they moved release date, but this cheap trailer is one of the worst I have ever seen. Oh boy. Care to elaborate? Look, I don't really watch too many trailers because I'm not interested in many games. I've got my few games that I play, you know, and I'm interested in those. Take for example World of Warcraft. They always have these big ass trailers, cinematic trailers. Okay, they're always on top of the game, sure, but when it so I don't really know what trailers nowadays look like. I'm like illiterate when it comes to that. But I see it as it is, you know, it's a Gothic game. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't look too bad. I'm sure there are better trailers out there, no questions asked, definitely, but to me it looks okay. Again, I was a little bit caught off guard by the dioramas, but now understanding it, it makes sense and I like it. The animations and combat are trash. Didn't change even a bit since they released the first demo. I think they sped it up. Pickup animations they were definitely worked on. picking up stuff. You know, it's very comparatively very fast. But still, I got my problems, you know, with the combat, the weapon swings. That needs to be on point. That it's like that's like the meat and the bones when it comes to combat itself. Like what can you fuck up archery? Yes, sure, but compared to back in the day where you had like autofocus and all that kind of crap, this is a huge step up. I think archers will be okay, even though archery in the demo was a little bit, it was very slow, so you had to, in my opinion, you had to switch to melee weapons at one point, because, you know, the enemies approach you, and I don't know, combat needs to be, it doesn't need to be like polished in ways the combat is polished like in Elden Ring or Dark Souls, because that is so on point, you know. But it needs to catch the original spirit, in my opinion. If you don't have that, bro, that's a huge downgrade. Magics look cool. You have different spells with different effects. I can see, like, you know, you can freeze enemies, you can stun lock enemies with certain electricity spells. Probably there's some kind of dot effect when you cast fire. You know, that ticks, having a damage over time effect. That I'm okay with. Cartoonish section is straight up bad, then short insertion of gameplay is also low quality. Trailers should be cinematic to present the game in the best way possible. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I guess there's people who want, you know, the actual gameplay footage, and that's basically what you get right here. Apart from cinematic shots like this, you won't see that in game, you know, but the rest you will see like this, firing an arrow and stuff, you know. That is slowed down, sure, for cinematic effect, but that's the actual gameplay, and I think I'm fine with that. But I know where you're coming from. What I'm looking up for is the modding community, new tools to patch the remake into perfection. Yeah, obviously. I don't think that we will get a mod kit right from the start, and I don't care, you know, if they give us a mod kit like a year later, but eventually having a mod kit is necessary. Speaking of World of Warcraft, I feel like they ripped the design of that fire-breathing thing straight out of the Mossworn from Shadowlands at 153. Oh, the demon? The Mossworn. Dude, I hate Shadowlands. Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, I get you. I feel ya. The legs are twisting when moving sideways. You mentioned the weird sword swinging, the sliding. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Greetings, Redwise. It appears they went too far with their we want to create something of our own and we want to expand the story and game. They are trying to bite more than they can chew, it appears to me. They need to dial down the arcane, dial up the occult. Fighting still looks bad. Yeah. I don't know, like, fighting in the OG doesn't look too good as well, but it felt really good. Okay, I'm talking close combat, right? The original, it felt so rewarding, especially, you know, when you level up your game, when you level up your skill, your one-handed skill, for example, you wield it differently, and suddenly you can, you know, combo properly and attack way faster. That is very rewarding. Whereas as an unskilled swordsman, you would, you know, you hit and you need time to recover, and But still, you know, there was this video that I made where I said that even as an untrained swordsman in the original, you would swing faster than in the Nyrus demo. And that is true. And I think even after the fixes, that's still true. You hit, you know, you hit the attack button, and it doesn't matter what kind of what kind of swordsman you are, that hit should come fast. The delay should be kept to a minimal. Obviously, you know, when you're a master swordsman, the swing should be even faster, but I don't know. You need this fast pace somehow. I don't think we've experienced the combat of this game yet to really have an opinion. I think they actually failed showing what they've done so far with it. Meaning it could actually end up being really good. Yeah. I also had kind of the feeling that they increased some things in the demo, but I might have an inkling that this might not be the final combat, because the demo, the Nyrus demo, is basically, as far as I understood it, a modification of the main game. And maybe the changes they applied to this modification aren't like the changes they applied to the main game, you get me? It's kind of, that's what I'm hoping for. Oh yeah, that comment, I forgot about that. Who said this? Let me check. Yeah, too much arcane. Gothic seemed to me quite restrained fantasy setting compared to Dungeons and Dragons or whatever. But that might be graphics limitation of the time. Yeah, sure. But you're absolutely right. Dude, they need to hammer down this occult feeling. I'm really worried about one thing they said in the last making of that still doesn't sit right with me the more I think about it. And I need to make another video about it, like a separate video about what they said. Because they need to be careful with how they approach Gothic 3. The problem is you cannot really scrap Gothic 3 and say it never happened. It did happen, but it did happen very, 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 very badly. And sure, you can say the atmosphere changes. You're in a prison, then you're out of the prison, then you're on the mainland. I get that. But there should be a general feeling in a franchise that is working like an umbrella. This feel, this atmosphere, this is what basically encompasses everything. The worst decision they would probably go for is to say, yeah, all that occult stuff, you know, and all that weird shit, well, that was in a colony, but now we're in Corinus. I'm like, what? That is not good. That's not the way to go. Definitely not. Gothic 1 set the scene. Gothic 2 already changed. There's I just recently saw a discussion on Reddit. Fuck Reddit, by the way, but I recently saw a discussion on Reddit about that, you know. Gothic 2 feels better when you play it, but Gothic 1 is better, you know, in terms of story and atmosphere and all that. When they created Gothic 1, it was a completely different team. And I think already there were already people leaving when Gothic 2 was a thing. But Gothic 3 had so much different choices made. Choices for the worse. It's like what is going on, you know? And you gotta go back to the essence of Gothic. You gotta take a look at the artworks, you gotta take a look at the themes that are set up, and you need to carry them over. Sure, Corinus is a more civilized place, you know, but in the context of this occult in dark fantasy RPG, the dark atmosphere that is set up in Gothic 1. It sets the tone for the trilogy. It should do that, but it then the hallmarks vanished from the game. I do hope it's the case, but from looking at it, it does not vibe that way. What I really don't like is the approach they take, where it's less mysterious and more flashy. Look at Xardus' tower. Exactly, that's basically what I said. You know, with too many spikes, it's a little too edgy for my taste. Also, the convocation ritual in the courtyard. I mean, we had this, you know, we had this cutscene in the original, which wasn't too good as well. It was very pixelated. So to me, it was clear that they do something with the in-game graphics. I mean, sure, obviously that they would do something like that. I'm curious what's going on in that scene, no, you know, but I don't think it's too bad. I don't think it's too bad. Gothic 1, Gothic 2, we're Oblivion now? Piranha Bytes. Exactly. Panzers is absolutely right with that. They just wanted to open up the market for the people, you know, the Western Hemisphere, meaning America, and they gave us the beautiful Gothic 3. Such a shit show. At the same time, you know, cut them some slack because the studio, the publisher behind them went haywire and all that. Okay, yeah, but that's no excuse for the game that we got. And I get, look, it's so weird because I know people grew up with Gothic 3 rather than Gothic 1. I know this is one of their first games they played. And I get why you're attracted to it. Because it's the first game you played. Maybe it's the first open world and it really, you know, opened your mind about these games. But you gotta be fair enough and take a look at the other works and see that there is a huge difference in tone, that the tonal shift is just too vast. Like, you see, I tried to give you an Elder Scrolls analogy. I'm not too much into Elder Scrolls. I played Morrowind for a very, very brief time at my neighbor's house when they got Morrowind. And I was like, dude, that's so cool, you know, and big ass world and all that. And it's a fucking classic. Years later, I played Skyrim. I more or less recently, a few years ago, I replayed it. And okay, obviously there is huge differences between the games where they are set and the cultural and atmosphere and all that. But even though I played Skyrim, which was basically my first Elder Scrolls, so to speak, I can say that the older titles, especially Morrowind, were better. Thematically, tonally. It was more brutal, it was more daring, I want to say. Skyrim feels like, oh, the good old Viking fantasy with dragons, you know. I, even though played Skyrim completely, you know, without finishing the other titles, I can acknowledge that it was a tonal shift. And even if I would like the setting of the setting of Skyrim, I can still say, you know, but the shift is too big. I'd rather go back into, you know, the Morrowind days. You can do change in style well. Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim managed to make this work. Yeah, what they have got going for them is like the huge cultural shift between the regions and stuff. I can explain it that way, but I don't really see the potential in the world of Gothic. I mean, sure, you've got the Varantians, you've got the mainland people. True, there are differences, sure, but I think that again, this umbrella analogy that I used, it changed too much too quickly, and that's my worry for the future. Too much magic lights, flashy things, they need to dial it down. It's easy to do. I fear it's not. They review... What? I fear it's not the review on the world. Okay, yeah. It's really, oh man, it's hard to talk about this, but because at the same time I said it in the last stream, you know, you've got artists working on the game and just giving everything HD textures. You wanna leave your mark on the game because you are an artist. You wanna give it your own spin, but I think. Oh, that sounds bad when I say it right now, but I think an artist with integrity who is working on a project, you know, that was developed before his time on said project should pay respects to the project, right? To the remake. And you can make changes without completely changing the atmosphere. It's harder to do, I think, you know. That sounded very negative. I didn't want to come across very negative about that. It's hard. It's hard. Alien Morrowind versus Medieval Oblivion versus Nordic Skyrim is the same in the same setting. Yeah. Look at the design also. Xardus Tower spikes, really? Is that Lord of the Rings? Bombastic bridges when they are very simple in the original? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Thing with being flashy is it might help sell them more among people not familiar with the original. Yeah, that's a very good point, Atale. But it will annoy average original fan. True. Morrowind was so weird, I loved it. Yeah, me too. Me too. I really love the setting. Yes, we shall not forget that we are living in the day and age of the Lord 2025, where the industry is what it is. It really hasn't changed for the better, I want to say, you know. And it's really becoming marvelized, where it's all flashy, you know, and you've got the big epic battles and all that kind of stuff. But the substance, it's lacking. You know, like these games nowadays, they occupy your mind while you play them. Then you leave the computer, you leave it all behind, you know, and you don't think much about it. Gothic, even though like it's so old, more than 2 decades, 2.5 decades, it's so old, but still, you know, you play the game, you lie in bed late at night and you think about that. That's a good game. And I completely agree. I don't need the flashy stuff. I don't need all the effects. Dial it down. Simple is better sometimes, you know. Many times, actually. Trailer looks flashy at parts, but playing the demo, I had the perfect Gothic vibe. Everything was depressing and the colors and tones were perfect. Avatar of Hate, yeah. We shall remember this is still, you know, this is still a fucking trailer. They need to have the cinematic angle. I mean, even if you would go back into Gothic 1 trailers, the very old ones, I guess, you know, there's some flashiness incorporated in those as well. It's still a trailer, sure. And you're right, you know, that the atmosphere is very different. You know, it also comes over so flashy because you saw the trailer is pretty short, actually. You know, we got those. If you cut out this diorama stuff, it's barely 2 minutes. I've got the feeling. No, it's longer. It's very short. The edit is very fast. You know, it seems flashy because you're teleported all around the world doing different things. But I think if you're in the world, you let it breathe, it's more bearable. Bird Puppy, hey, yeah. I just wanted to say I'm let down by the demon design. It looks so skinny and weak compared to the creepy original. Yeah, we talked about that. I'm not completely against it because it still looks so flashy. But yeah, you're right. The original one has a very, very distinct feel to it. Real good games come from indies today. Yeah, you're right. Dude, indie will rise. The thing that Triple A and Quadruple A games have going for them is the titles. Take a look at the big franchises. They all turned to money-grabbing, greedy-ass franchises. I mean, not the franchises themselves, but the people behind it, you know, the suits, the moneymakers. They took the names that you loved from your childhood and then they exploited not just the franchises, but also you. They don't care about, having a good game. They care about the numbers, which is so strange. The industrialization of video games is probably the worst thing that I witnessed, you know, in entertainment media. But it's not just video games. It's basically everything. Every single franchise that you loved as a kid is getting butchered by these people who seemingly have no heart put into the story. It's only, how can I make more money? I hate this. You know, I don't want to sound like a fucking communist, but it's always this massive growth that they anticipate. You cannot grow exponentially every year. Sometimes you will flatline, you know? You cannot fire people. You cannot fire devs all over the place. World of Warcraft has the problem, you know. They very recently got rid of PR people. Dude, you are having a live service game. You need people to properly advertise for that game. Why are you firing them? Because some Indian CEO says, well, you know, it's like the biggest money sink in the whole development team is basically the human aspect of it, you know, because you can say AI can write your fucking advertisement or whatever, but humans, you need to pay humans. They're still very much the most cash intense thing in any type of in any type of industry. Also, like if you go for the fucking dude, I went to McDonald's not that long ago, you know. It's everywhere. You're pushed to these like what is like tablets, you know, where you can make your order. Like back in the day, you went to the counter and you were like, you know, I get it, fucking menu number 5, you know. But they cut costs by having less humans involved, and that's what's. I'm digressing right now, but we are living in the day and age of cutting costs to make a profit. And that is the industry. Not just, again, this is not just making games. It's horrible. It's horrible. I really long for those days, like when people loved gaming and they made games that they loved to share their love for games. When it came from a place of passion. Nowadays, it's industrialized. It's subscription here, it's subscription there, it's kiss my ass, you know? It's crazy. DLC that. Fuck that. Fuck Game Pass. Fuck Battle Pass. Fuck all these things. I hate it. Yep, that's something first-person shooters do correctly. They know what the focus needs to be on and tone down everything else. French Scheiße. Franchise, yeah, exactly. Maybe you're right. Maybe the flashiness stands out because it's a trailer and everything is so condensed. Maybe when you look at it, isolated instances, it's fine. Yeah. Kiosk? Any thoughts on orcs being kicked or attacked with weapons and falling down so easy? I mean, they're double your size and strength and doesn't... Yeah, but maybe that was the death blow. You know, maybe that was the last hit. I think they're strong boys, you know. Getting kicked from the cliffs, this is like the gameplay implication that you can kick people to get some distance. I don't know what to think about that. It's a small thing in my opinion. I mean, you can already dodge, you know, step back. Kicking your opponent. Why not? That makes some good visuals if you can kick somebody down the you know, the mountains or cliff sides or whatever. I don't really mind it too much. Combat itself needs to be spot on, brother. Fast and visceral. Reactive. The orc got kicked in the nuts, that's why I felt, yeah, man. You can be like 7 feet, man. The nuts is where it's at, brother. One crit into your nuts and you go down. If you have any experience in sparring, especially when you spar with someone more stronger than you, kicking them and pushing them is really not realistic. I don't have any experience with that. I can see where you're coming from. I once saw, there was a clip of the mountain, you know, what's his name? Haftar Bjornsson? And he was like jokingly fighting with that Irish fella, that MMA dude, I think, and it's like no chance. This is like McGregor, yeah, his name is McGregor. McGregor against the mountain, you know, and McGregor is fast and all that, and you know he packs a punch, but there's no chance, you know, if your opponent is very massive. But again, it's a video game. What you want to do? Orcs were bigger in the original as well, you know. With that said, I don't really mind it that much, because it would be also weird to that orcs would serve as some kind of, you know, damage sponge, and you hit them and nothing happens. Like in the early game, sure, when you're very weak, but later on in an appropriately scaled level, you know, when you go into the orc zone with level, I want to say 25, if it's still comparable to the original, yeah, you should do some okay damage. It's Delvin! Greetings, man! What are you up to? Are you fine? It's not the size that matters, how you use your weapon it is. Yeah. What's that saying? It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. That's what it is. And yeah, as I said, after all, it's a video game, right? My buddy is more taller and stronger than me. We spar regularly, and the idea of me dodging and kicking him like how the orc is being kicked is just not happening. It ruins my immersion. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay. I get your point, definitely. By the way, did the devs say something about replay value issue, adding meaningful branching paths, for example, as well as transferring your decisions to Gothic 2 Remake down the line? Bro, this is something that I mentioned in a video way back. How cool would that be to transfer your save game into Gothic 2? It's like, I don't really want, you know, like weapons or armor being transferred into Gothic 2, but just the choices that you made and that NPCs remember those choices. That is what's interesting to me. Witcher 1 did it back in the day. Why can't Alchemia do it? That remains to be seen, maybe. I hope they do it. That's a cool feature, actually. That's so cool. All good. I don't really follow things right now, but made an exception. Oh man, you're my darling. I love you, brother. Are you out of the game? Like, what's going on? If you don't want to talk about it in chat, you can message me on Discord if you like. Like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. Yeah. The overall, because I didn't watch the last making of until like a day before yesterday when I made the live stream. Taking in like this huge material, like the making of part 3 and this trailer now, there's obviously a bunch of stuff that I just need to soak up. I really have other plans right now. The best way to approach it might be to do a separate video about these things, but My upload schedule is fucked and you know it. It's very rare that I upload something like this, but I really should, but I don't know if I can. Was that Sam Hyde? It's Sam Hyde, brother. Yeah. Witcher did branching paths well. Doubling Act 2 in Witcher 2 was insane decision by CDB. Oh yeah, where you have the opinion to go after Yorweth or Roach, right? Delvin, that is always priority. Always. I'm speaking of experience. That's why I don't upload so often. Oh yeah, back to Atelier. I didn't answer the question. No, the devs didn't say anything about that, but or at least not directly. So branching paths, I don't really know, but there will be. Excuse me. But adding more quests to the guilds, to the factions in the game, will have a certain replay value. And I bet you don't catch all the quests in your first playthrough. So it's at least 3 playthroughs if you wanna know every side of the story, right? And then you've got different play styles, you know, if you want to go for fire mage or water mage or, you know, archer, melee. So I think there are actually enough reasons to replay the game, definitely. Also, the magic lost its subtleness. The original knew how to be subtle with things. When Xardus summons demons, it's purple and too many special effects. I understand it's modern times, but still, yeah. But that wasn't Xardus though. That was the... Where is it? I think that's Basie. Where is it? Yeah. That's the Nameless Hero. He's wearing the robes of Xardus. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, I don't mind these fancy psychedelic effects during the invocation of the sleeper. Something like this. Remember when you cast Army of Darkness. What happens when you cast Army of Darkness? There is a ominous sound playing and the screen is rumbling, right? That is how you cast Skeleton Army. That's all. And you gotta do something about it, some visual cue. I think the question is how you do it. If you ask me, it was red and ground shaking. Yeah, sure. Okay, then it was a reddish effect. Dude, if you ask me how I would have designed Army of Darkness, they're coming out of the ground, right? So I would have this rumbling noise like in the original, and then like cracks in the ground, and then, you know, skeleton hands coming out of the ground, but simple. Not too many effects. And the purple shit. See, the purple stuff is the color. See, Innos is red. You've got the Sleeper is green. You've got Adanos, that's blue. And necromantic energies in Gothic are usually, I would say, considered the magic of Beliar. So you got like a visual cue of what kind of spell you're casting. I think that's what they were going for. Yeah, I don't know why, but somewhere in the franchise they already had like purple Beliar shit. I'm not sure where. Wasn't it like dude, I've never played Gothic 1 as a mage. How sad is that I don't know these things. It's way scarier when it's simpler, just some dust coming out. Manifesting skeletons is so mysterious. Too much light explains how it's done. Big amounts of energy, not scary. Yeah, it looks like some party time, not dark magic. It's like you need the disco ball above your head. Night fever, night fever. Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. We will see. We will see. With mods and all that kind of stuff. I'm really hoping that the mod support will be like. I don't have any clue about modding, but it seems like many times it's kind of restricted. That you cannot go into like the source code or whatever, you know, and completely change the game. I get that. But if you can mod the visuals, if you can mod the animations and combat system in that regard, you know, I'd be very happy. Because I know there is some very dedicated people out there. And I promise you, if you have mod support, people will immediately de-remake his... How do you say that? They will de-remake it. You know, still like Unreal, but more in line, that the visuals are more in line with Gothic 1. I can promise that. That's like a no-brainer. If I would be a modder, dude, that would already be on my plan. If they play correctly with the sound, special effects can almost be non-existent. Yeah. Yeah. But again, you know, we're living in today's time. You need to have all those flashy effects to I don't know, get those I don't want to be discriminating, those zoomer brains. No, but you know, it's a known thing that people nowadays have less attention span. And that's why most movies nowadays, you know, they're just this big CGI fest instead of a captivating story. Very sad, but that's the modern times, baby. Oh, is that crazy? I mean, look, it's a win-win situation. You just follow the original and be smart about it. Adding purple and effects to make things less realistic and creepy and more gamey is a no-no. Yeah, sure. Be full on Asmongold, my bro. We need voices of logic and common sense. Yeah, I mean... You know, the great George Lucas, once upon a time when he was doing Star Wars, he said that CGI, because Star Wars was in the Guinness World Records for their excessive use of CGI effects or special effects. But at the same time, they had a lot of miniature models and like real life props and all that. So the great George Lucas said that these special effects are a tool. They should not be used as an excuse for a lack of story. Something like that. I cannot quote him directly, but something like this. And I think in many ways that still should be a mantra that you live by nowadays in terms of movies, but also games, you know, less is more. And now talking about this, you know, I really fear that there is some type of that there is too much of a tonal shift. Because all of this, you know, all of these little things, they also contribute to the atmosphere. And I want to compare it a little bit to the magic of Game of Thrones. As far as I understand it, in Game of Thrones, you know, you don't have Dungeons and Dragon-like mages, you know, that go around and, you know, throw fireballs and summon this and summon that. It's a type of magic that is used rarely, because the magic, it's kind of a give and take. You gotta give something to the magic world to cast something. That's why it's rarely done. That's how I understood it. So the magic becomes very subtle in Game of Thrones, and even though this is a video game, you know, and you can be a mage and all that, magic cannot be that subtle. But in the presentation it can, right? And that's what you guys are talking about, and I get it. I totally get it. You could raise those skeletons without so much glittering stuff. What you can do to still have the indication that this is a spell of the Dark Realm or Beliar or the Dark Arts, whatever, just a very subtle purple hue around the hands. That should be enough, right? But yeah, this is too much. This is too much, I see it. You convinced me. George Lucas focused on telling his story, everything else was just a tool to do that. This is why he succeeded, you're right. Yeah, but isn't it kind of ironious that, isn't it kind of, you know, like the complete opposite, like a complete shit show, that he then decided to do the prequels and everything was CGI, like almost everything. And it looked like shit. It was shit. It looked like crap. It was still better than the sequels though. But yeah, it's a thing, it's a tool to set the scene, right? It's not the scene itself. That's the first thing. Wait, Atelier. Yeah, in Gothic, Game of Thrones magic is extremely occult. It is. That's the first thing it came to my mind. Gothic didn't make his atmosphere by chance. It was the developer's vision and art that made it so immersive. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They sat down and talked about these things, or had a vision in mind. That seems to be the point of Runes too. It was more like technology instead of direct pew pew, my hands are laser guns. Yeah. That's why I also hate Gothic 3, because they got rid of the runes. Of all the things they could have done, you know, that the orcs won the war or whatever, they decided to get rid of this fundamental thing. And the funny thing is, you still got casters, you know, just by, oh, we're so doomed, we don't have the runes anymore. Oh, okay, I'm going to learn like the old knowledge and cast without runes. Guess it's not really that hard after all. Oh, bro. Gothic 3 is the Star Wars prequels. Gothic 3 is shit. The prequels are shit. The sequels are even worse. Why can't we have nice things anymore? If somebody tuned in right now, me saying this, it's like, I actually like many things in the trailer. I actually like even more things in the last art and vision stuff that we saw. I'm just chilling here and talking. Jesus Christ. The ancient knowledge was supposed to be legendary abilities reserved only for the very few. Suddenly everybody can cast spells. Exactly. Like, yeah, go to the shrine, pray to Innos, have like 5 learning points. Go for it. It's like, you know, why don't you set up like a big ass quest to restore this old magic, right? But again, they didn't have the time. They were pushed by the publisher and all that. But that cannot excuse the one fact that Gothic 3 is shite. If they made everything a little too fleshy, when in my opinion it was a thing easy to avoid, the occult is a hallmark of the games, I fear that what else did they change? Yes. Also, I know I complain a lot and sound negative, but the rune floating around your character while using magic is so distracting and less cool. I'm okay with the rune being in your hand and using magic. Yes, I don't know if I've mentioned that before, but I liked it when you had it in your hand. At the same time, it's kind of cool to see how you cast that shit, but that casting, it looks cool, but it looks like every other casting, you get me? Having a rune in your hand and conjure up a fireball from it, you know, and then throw it. It doesn't necessarily look better, but it looks more unique. That was a design decision probably because they wanted to animate the hands and, you know, something like that. But I agree, you know, having the runes in your hand. Yeah. You should, Bear Puppy, you should compare a lot. Complain a lot. You see, we're complaining too less actually. Like, not for Gothic, but if more people would complain, games wouldn't be so shit. If the this is like, I'm digressing really far right now, but what I hate nowadays, if I go onto forums, especially Reddit, fuck Reddit by the way, but if you go onto these forums where people talk about games, there is always this positivity, and I hate that. I'm not a positive person at all. I'm very pessimistic. But I hate it, you know, when you bring up something and you're like, I don't like it because of those reasons. They say like, oh, you're a hater, you're like this and that, and they put all those labels on you. And they're like, oh, be more positive about it. Like, no. No. You know, back in the day when Oblivion gave us the fucking horse armor DLC, instead of buying that ugly ass shit, people should have stood up, even in the early days of the internet, and they should have said, no, that's shit. We don't want this. And now, as we Germans say, jetzt haben wir den Salat. Now we have the salad, you know. Now we have all this bullshit. Games, big ass you know, sales movements dressed up as games. DLC that is crazy. Crazy, absolutely crazy. People should have stood up earlier, way earlier. They should have said, nope, we don't want this. Complain about it. Be vocal about it. Same goes for everything. If you don't like it, be constructive, but don't be shy to just shut your mouth. Say something. A few things here and there, and the atmosphere changes a lot. Yeah, definitely, sure. Like I like all the heavy weather effects and stuff like that, you know. But when let's go back a little bit. Like the heavy weather effects, that's brilliant. But take this casting for example. I would get rid of that swirly shit around your head, which is basically like a trail that the rune leaves when it swirls around your head. I think that's unnecessary. That's too much. Pencils. There is an old game, I keep forgetting how it's called, but there you had to literally shape the root. Arx Fatalis. Yeah, exactly, yeah. That's so cool. Arx Fatalis is such a good premise. I always wanted to play it. I watched a few playthroughs of it. That looks so good. Bro, why is nobody remaking Arx Fatalis? They should. They definitely should. That's such a good game. Look how... Look how distracting it looks when it flows around your character like a meteorite. Yeah. Truth is, I complain too much. That's why I'm not in the Discord server anymore. You know. I think if you vocalize your opinions in a mannered way, and you are not just criticizing for the sake of criticizing, but also have maybe solutions, and you're civil about it, and it's a proper criticism. Nobody should ban you or anything. But what I've seen many times now during my time on YouTube, that many people just throw themselves into the fray, and they're like, "That's shit, brother." Care to elaborate? No answer. You know, and that is not constructive criticism. That's just retarded. I wanted them I warned them of these decisions that can affect the atmosphere, and they label me as a problematic because I attack the modern gaming vision. For a good chance, it looks like Battlefield 6 is coming back to its root. Yeah, I think we are seeing like a resurgence in some parts of gaming. We had these very, 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 very disgusting and terrible years of gaming where many things got politicized under the guise of, oh, we just want to be friends and be friendly and all that. But I think we're coming back to a time where it was, I mean, that's what people want, right? The majority of people. Good games instead of this pandering and all that. I mean, what was it? Battlefield 6? What was it? Call of Duty or whatever, where they had like this campaign during Second World War. And there is like this is like a woman with a hook claw instead of a hand. You know, she was an amputee. It's like this is representing the people on the front lines of the Second World War. It's like, what? Oh boy! Same goes for what's it called? Assassin's Creed Shadows. Nah, mate, no. That's not good. Battlefront 5, yeah. Let's be inclusive. The title of the failed gaming years. Yeah, exactly. Look, being inclusive is great, but they took it to the extreme. They took a perfectly normal word which had positive implications and twisted and turned it into something. And that was not done by chance. That was not done by chance. I sound like a fucking nut job right now, but just to say, how can you be against something so like common courtesy? How can you be against it? Are you a monster or something? That's how they attack you, and that's just, you know, it's falling apart slowly but surely. People are yeah, they're beyond that. Okay, guys, I'm getting tired. I gotta leave the house tomorrow very, very early on. And I think it was a great time. I don't know. We are streaming for... Can't even see it right now. I don't know. So, it was great. It was nice to have you all here to watch this. Repeatedly in the background while we were talking about everything and nothing. Yeah, thank you all guys for tuning in. It was great. See you all in the next one, I guess. Have a good one. Oh, we got a weekend, right? Yeah, bro. Enjoy your weekends. And be nice to each other. Goodbye. Do zobaczenia. I don't know, man. Yeah, it was also a pleasure. See you around, guys. Next time. Bye-bye.